Yo, what is up guys? In this video I'm going to be talking you through all the tips I use and I see pros using to be the best IGL they can be and make the smartest decisions when it comes to in-game scenarios. I'll share with you multiple tips and strategies you need to take note of to be successful before analysing one of my wins from the recent Duo Cash Cup to show you how I use the tips I share to be a good IGL. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on it and also smash that sub button as it's my dream to hit 20k by the end of 2024. Now starting off, I want to cover why it's actually important to be a good IGL. Now this season Epic made some big changes, halving the amount of points gained from eliminations in all Duo Cash Cups, meaning that now the tournament is a lot more placement heavy. Now this means that the role of the IGL has become way more important because many strategic and smart decisions need to be made in succession in order to guarantee yourselves a successful game. Okay, so starting off, the first step to becoming a good IGL is planning out the game. Now having a successful plan for each stage of your game is crucial for your team as an IGL, but what exactly do I mean by having a plan? Well, it's all about planning out in your mind exactly what you want to lead your team to do in each stage of the game, whether this be for example disengaging off spawn early and rotating to the dead side of zone in order to make endgame and play for placement points, or it could be to W key people off spawn and attempt to fight for the medallion. Now you must plan out what you're going to do based on you and your partner's strengths. For example, if you know you're a strong and confident fighting team, then pushing teams in the congested side of zone in order to get game winning loot is a pretty solid idea if you back yourself in fights. If you're a less confident team, then rotating dead side and playing for placement is the better option for you. Now, your game plan may change depending on the game. For example, if it's the first game of a Duo Cash Cup, for example, you may want to be a bit more aggressive due to you being in lower elo lobbies, whereas if it's later on, you may want to be less aggressive because the skill of the players is likely to be better. Now, one of the crucial reasons planning each rotation in game is so important is because it allows you to have an outline on what your aim is in each game, and it also allows your teammate to understand their role in the game, allowing to solve the issues of potential miscommunication. Now, the three different plans you need to have each game consist of early game, mid game and late game. For example, your early game plan should focus on which buildings and loot you're aiming to get and whether you are trying to fight the other team off spawn, and if you can give yourself a positional advantage of height, for example, over the other team contesting your drop spot. Your mid game plan should focus on whether you're rotating to congested or dead side and whether you're looking to take any mid game fights or just play for placement until the end game. Lastly, your end game plan should focus on key factors as to which layer you're going to be on. Are you going to be on a high layer or a low ground team, and what opportunities should you look for to get refreshes, or when should you look to get refreshes, sorry. However, even with all the planning in the world, it's the execution of the plan that's most important part, so let's cover that more. So step number 2 is all going to be about confidence in your execution. Now there are many variables that change within a Fortnite game, and having a solid plan alone is far from enough to guarantee yourselves getting that victory royale. But something which can help you massively as an IGL is being confident and believing in your calls and decision making. This is because, as an IGL, you carry the responsibility if your team dies. This could be due to a bad rotation or a poor decision to fight, so it's crucial that you must believe in each and every decision that you make is smart and will have the best outcome for your team. Now, no team is perfect, not even the top pros, and everyone will make mistakes as an IGL which can cost them to losing games. It's important though that when these mistakes happen, you are able to identify what went wrong and then as a result be able to own up to your mistakes and learn from them. As an IGL, if your team goes down on a rotate, that is the most of the time it's going to be your fault because it's your choice to where you and your team are positioned in each zone. This means that it's crucial that you own up to yourself instead of blaming the fragger all the time, and this only will worsen the chemistry within the duo. If you do blame your fragger, you need to take responsibility yourself. Now you can actually practice and hone this confidence through scrims, for example, as these create in-game scenarios where you have to make important decisions for the benefit of your duo. If a poor decision is made and you end up going down on a rotation in half zone, for example, you should go back into replay mode afterwards and identify the poor decisions that were made in the lead up to your death. You can then learn from this and use this experience in the future to make smart, confident decisions that you and your duo both believe is the best choice for you guys at each stage of every game. For my third tip to becoming a good IGL, I want to talk about quick decisions and minimizing your hesitation. Now, if you have ever watched any pro IGLs play, whether this might be Queasy, Seti, or Booger for example, you will notice that one thing they never do is the key factor of hesitating. This is because pros have a lot more experience, so it's much more comfortable for them to make smart decisions in a short time period at these high levels, like an FNCS Grand Finals for example. Now the issue of hesitation is that the more time you spend thinking about a smart decision, the more time it allows other opponents to have to rotate before you, for example, then allowing them to gain the positional advantage on you, which could negatively impact you. Now you can train this skill of minimizing hesitation and making quick decisions through playing more competitive games such as scrims scrims, and you have to understand that you're going to make big mistakes along the way, but that's all part of the process in trying to improve your decision making overall. Now for my next tip, I want to talk about ensuring you have clear comms between you and your duo. Now having crucial comms is arguably the most important part of being a good duo, as you must ensure that both you and your duo are on the same page with what you need to do at every stage in the game. You see, if you have unclear comms, your teammate may fail to understand that you're W-keying this team for a refresh, for example, leading to him not supporting you, you having more of a chance of being eliminated, and boom, your entire game's thrown. That could cost you your tourney, you just never know. Optimal communication is short and concise, meaning your comms convey a clear and strong message to your duo of what you need to do. This could be something as simple as like rotate now, or literally you don't have to overcomplicate it whatsoever. Honestly, the more words said, the worse it tends to be. Just keep it short, concise, and clear what you're trying to say. If you have poor comms, you won't perform well as a duo and you won't be a good IGL, and this is something you must practice if you really want to take your game to the next level and start placing higher in duo cash cups or FNCS, for example. Okay, so now we've reached the point in the video where I'm going to take you guys through this 14 kill win from the duo cash cup in pretty solid elo lobbies, which allowed us to get a really nice placement. I'm going to tell you exactly how I IGL'd this and made smart decisions in order for us to get the win. So the first part of the early game strategy here is ensuring you have the best drop. Now, as you guys can see, I've used my drop map to ensure that I am dropping first, and I know that me and my teammate Alpha are the lowest two players. So we're easily able to grab this burst AR, and from there, we're basically gifted a free kill down here on Zeddy, and that allows you just to start off your game with a free elimination on the team that's contesting you off spawn. Now, prior to the start of this game, I'd already laid out to Alpha that we're going to be W-keying the teams off spawn because we want the elimination points. So as you guys can see, we just proceed to get a couple kills on a couple solos down on low ground, and that is us wiping the entire of Reckless Railways just like that. So we have won our spawn completely. So moving on now to the first of our two mid-game objectives, which I had set out for us. It was going to be capturing the forecast tower, and we're lucky that there's a fight already going on. So a simple 3-2-1 from me and Alpha at the same time allows us to pick an easy elim on one of the teams that is fighting for the forecast tower. Then I simply go in and get the finish on this elim, and then we can rotate out and focus back on our objective. We don't need kills right now, we need to focus the forecast tower. So as soon as the bots spawn in, we get that kill, redeem the key card, and forecast this season, as I've explained in many of my videos before, is a massive advantage because there is no rotation, obviously, with the jetpacks being removed. So having forecast is great, and now we know we're playing for the win in this game. So now at this moment as an IGL, I'm thinking, right, we have the forecast tower, and now we need to secure game-winning loot. There's not long left of the tourney. We need to get our hands on the Wrath Medallion and the Mythics in order to win this game. I see the Medallions fighting, and we pick up one easy free kill here before getting involved in the fight. Now, I know because we're coming in as the third party that it's likely the other players involved in this fight are extremely weak. So I simply grab my loot and then begin to pressure the other two players that I know have the Medallion. So again, all we're doing here is we're waiting for Alpha to back us up. Here we go. Then we're going to apply pressure onto this player from different angles. We take the wall, bam, get the crack. And from here, it's just as simple as, you know, they're both extremely weak. We knock one. And if we switch to my POV, you guys will see that we managed to take down both of this duo by dropping them out as simple as. Now we've gained ourselves all the 3 medallions, and we have that game-winning loot that I'm talking about to go on and win this game. Next, I want to talk about a mid-game rotate, which we did. So as you guys can see, the zone pulls up here, and during this time where we're sat in the bush, I'm explaining to Alpha exactly the rotate we're going to make. I know this team up left is going to look at us, so as I said to Alpha, just block off all angles in wood. We need to rotate deep into the zone, as this is going to be where the least congested part of the zone is. As you guys can see, most teams are on the opening part of the zone here, and if we rotate deep up here where the storm is currently and opening up, that's going to be very uncongested. So like I always say, wood will always come back. You can always refarm wood wherever you are on the map, so make sure you use it in order to block off your angles from opposing teams. And using this strategy, we get a free rotate here into the dead side of zone. So now once I'm in height, I've built a massive surge base, not for storm surge, but for the reason that we can apply pressure to a bunch of other players up here. We have the medallion, we have everything we need, we just simply need to be on height and make use of our spray weapons that we've got. You know, we got a gold burst and a purple burst. This is a great opportunity with the mats we have to look to get tags on other players on height. As you guys can see, me expanding because I know where the next zone's going to pull for forecast. This is an example of how to use forecast. We're positioned right here. We know the zone's going to pull right here, so we position ourselves correctly so we don't have to rotate far to next zone, and then we have a free opportunity to beam people on rotate. So lastly, I'm going to dissect the entire last 3 or 4 minutes of this endgame in which we are on high. You can see that I've told Alpha here his job is just to keep us fizzed as a team so we don't die to full damage if we do get chopped. We are looking to get some refreshes, but at the moment, our mats are pretty solid. As you guys can see, I've still got a solid amount of mats to be on height. Now, I always like to be on height just because I think, especially in these lobbies where there aren't loads and loads of people in endgame, it's a free opportunity to get lots of kills. As you guys can see, we're using our burst to apply pressure. We get a lot of damage there onto Darius, and we just continually apply pressure. I get a knock in zone, get another 2 kills there. That refreshes our mats. I've got 400 builds. We got about 700 builds between us as a duo. All we're going to do in this situation is just stick on height. I spot to Alex. This is a guy in a metal tarp, and he's second height, so he's probably quite stacked. So we want to pressure him. As you guys can see, pressure him, he drops down. All we have to do in this situation is play height, and we're looking for a few frag elims because obviously the more elims, the better. That's all I'm trying to do, but I'm making sure in this situation that neither me or Alpha is dropping down, because if we drop down, one of us could go down, and that could bottle us the game. The most crucial part here is that we stay up on the high ground. As you guys can see, same of the sort of stuff. We just continue to get kills from height. At this point, we've got 12 elims. We haven't really W-keyed anyone. From here, I can drop down, get a frag. This guy is a completely free kill. I know that even when I am going for this kill at the moment... Oh, the drone free is lagged out. My apologies. But I know even when I'm going for the free kill here, that Alex is still holding up the high ground to our left-hand side. So we're pretty good. The other player's on low ground. I simply look for this kill because I know this guy's weak. Pick up that kill. And now in this situation, many people would make the mistake of pushing as a solo. I don't do that. I say to Alex, okay, we're on height. We've just got to wait it out. We can play this as a duo. Literally, do not die. Just stay up. Make sure we're on the high ground. Heal up. It's a very simple game. All we've got to do. This guy's going to end up getting suffocated. As you guys can see, we drop on his walls. Different sides, alternate angles of pressure. And eventually, we do end up picking up the elim on this guy. And bang. That is a 14 kill win just through smart IGLing decisions. We didn't have to do anything major. I really hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. If you have, please make sure you have dropped a like and subscribed. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out from me.